Hi, I'm Charisma from Charisma's Corner, and I'm just here to offer some more stitching. We have been working on our Stitch in the Year project, and I'm so excited to see all of the things that you guys have been coming up with, all of the original ideas and all the stitching. I am by no means a professional stitcher, but I just have a passion for it. I love it, and I just wanted to share some of the things that I've learned along the way. This is starting with our wool penny project. So you can see the progress that I've been making on the wool penny project that I started this series with, and I'm applying all of the different techniques to each wool penny so I can share it with you. And so today I want to focus on couching. Couching is when you couch different yarns and fibers and threads down. So you can see on the outline of this one I couched down some yarn on the outside of this penny to just kind of give it a little bit of a border. I did the same thing here. This is a dark green around this wool penny that I couched down. And then I also made this rose. I couched down fibers to make this rose. So I want to show you how to do that. Because once you, there's a kind of a technique to the rose, but once you, couching is very easy and it just adds a little bit of texture and just weight to a project, and it's just kind of fun because you can find tons of different ribbons and threads and yarns and just whatever. I just pick up little things here and there, and you don't need much of it, but it just kind of adds a little bit to a project. So I have my thread here, and I used a high contrasting thread that to my yarn so that you guys can see the stitching a little bit better. And then you just kind of want to take that first little bit, you want to secure it down the end there. So I'm just taking a stitch. And so when you're couching down, you'll just, kind of go along and stitch, along this in whatever shape that you want. So that's what I did over here on the circles. I just kind of lined the thread up and then took my stitch. But to make the rose, you want to kind of do something a little different. So you kind of want it to go in a circle, but if you get it real tight and just go in a circle, you're just going to be winding up a spiral instead of a rose. So what you have to do is you just kind of have to give it some space there. So let's see, I'm going to take a stitch here, and you just kind of want it to be, you want the stitch to be tight, but you want it to be kind of loose, like a little petal. And so then you just keep going in a circle, and you don't want it to be exactly the same. You kind of want each of those loops to be kind of a different size. And you don't want to take your stitches in the same exact place on the circle. So I'm just gonna kind of show you what I do here. So see how loose that is there? And you just keep building upon it. So I'm going to come up over here because there hasn't been a stitch right here. You can see there's two right there, one right there. I want to kind of make a stitch right there. And if you have to pull it out a little bit just to get it there, that's perfectly fine. And you just keep going around. And you don't have to use a high contrasting thread. You can use something that blends in if you don't want to see it. It doesn't really bother me. I like to use a variegated thread sometimes. It just kind of adds a little bit of extra color and something to the piece. So then you just keep going around and around. And they don't have to be uniform in size. I think that's kind of the great thing about a rose, is because as you graduate on the outside of each petal, the more size that you get, the different sizes that you get, the more interest that you add to the flower. So I want to come in here. There hasn't been a stitch here for a while on this side of the circle. And you can kind of make it however big that you want. I just kind of let it tell me when it's finished, because sometimes they seem big when they're small, or seem finished when they're small. Sometimes I like to let them get a little bit bigger just because they seem to finish up and fill in a space pretty well. And the puffier your yarn is, the more it kind of fills in a little bit better, I think. The other thing that adds to that is the lazy daisy leaves on the outside of it when it's finished. It kind of just gives it that finished, yes, I'm a rose kind of a look. Can you see it starting to come together there? There's all different things that you can do, especially with our 365 project, because you can just make it do all sorts of things. The couching technique, you can just have it do all sorts of squiggly lines. You can have it be an outline, or I could do some fancy stitches to get those antennas together. But either way, couching is a great technique to fill in a space, which we'll have to do on a lot of these projects of 365. And it's just a good way to add a border or make a shape or something that you like. And this rose is just a cute little thing to fill one of those wool pennies. I've sort of love the challenge of trying to find different ways and to fill those pennies and use the stitches that I know, and then just build upon the library of things that I learn along the way. So you can see here we're starting to fill it up, and it's pretty much ready to go. All of these little areas are just these indentations around the outside are what I love, because those are the perfect opportunity to go in and fill in with lazy daisies or something like that to make it all come together. So then to end it, you just I just take a few stitches at the end of it here. You can see where I'm kind of doing this, and then I just clip the end off, and nobody is the wiser. So there is our couch down rose, and I just want to say thank you for following along, and next week we'll do the drizzle stitch and some other stitches that are coming along. So I hope that you're having a great time, and I'm excited for all of the projects. If you have any questions, just contact me at charismascorner.com. Thanks a lot. Bye.